Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 3 of the Scrapyard. I'm your host, Aiden. This is my co-host, Jake, and we are here to talk all things MMA. Jake, UFC Paris was fantastic. I know you got to watch it live. What'd you think?
Dude, I love a daytime card. Much better than the China cards at 3 a.m. Eastern time.
Slept
But
right through that one.
noon, no, I woke up. 1 hour of sleep. I powered through it. This was easier though. A little
Oh, yeah.
pancake, a little mimosa, a little scrambled egg, and you're ready for the fights. And they delivered. I mean, I think it was 11 finishes, a record for the UFC. It was a great card. We had some big fights with some title implications at the top. I'm really excited to talk about it all. We got a couple other side topics to talk about as well. So we got a loaded third episode of the Scrap. As you know, 3 is good luck. So must be a magical day.
That's what they say. It's what they say. Now, I unfortunately didn't get to watch the card live. I was having dinner with a family member I haven't like seen in several years. Not dinner, lunch, daytime card. Anyways, but I was on my phone the whole time, checking tweets and checking live results, and I'm like, holy, like this is going crazy, right? Like finish after finish after finish.
Yeah.
And the like you said, the main card, especially the top of the main card, has some huge implications for the title as well as just contenders. Like there's a lot going on right now, and I'm super excited about it. I know you wanted to talk specifically about the prelims a little bit, so let's go ahead and do that.
The best part about the prelims is it was nonstop action. We were supposed to have one other fight, and at the end of the day, they had to slow down the pacing so we could get through it all in time because there were so many finishes, and it started off hot with Sam Hughes, for the first time in her UFC career, was a favorite. Just destroyed Shauna Bannon, takedown, elbow, repeat. And by the second round, she was able to slip around to the back, grab the rear naked choke, a submission victory. Sam Page has looked the best she's looked in her entire UFC career. Like I said, always has been an underdog until being a nearly 3-1 favorite in this fight. I think the future is bright for Sam Page. She has a really tough style for some of these girls. She might get near the rankings soon. I think that's 4 wins in a row for her. So I think that was really fun, really impressive. The exact way you want the curtain jerker to start. I know you didn't get to watch it, but do you have any thoughts on this one? I know it's an American beating a UK opponent in Europe, so it was a little bit of a surprise.
We finally got Michael Chandler versus McGregor. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I didn't get to watch it. I did see people all over Twitter, several people saying that Sam's going to be a problem for these women, especially if she keeps going how she's going. I haven't gotten to watch it. I am planning to go through and rewatch the entire card illegally. Legally, I'll buy it. I'll get ESPN Plus, and I swear. But I want to go back and watch it because, I mean, it won't take very long with all the finishes. It's not like I'm going to be there for several hours, but I want to watch these fights back because they were bangers, and I wanted to watch this card so bad, and I had to plan lunch on the day of the card. Anyways, let's move on. Andreas Gustafsson versus Renat. I'm not even going to attempt to say that last name.
Fakhretdinov.
That can't be right.
I might be close. Regardless, I mean, everybody was excited to see Big Gus, the Swedish hammer. I won't say the word he uses, but he goes blank mode in his fights. That's how he describes himself. Everybody was excited to see him. I mean, everybody remembers Renat's fight with Carlos Leal, that close split decision, and probably expected a lot of the same here with the Gustafsson fight, but it wasn't even close to that. Gustafsson landed a few strikes early. Fakhretdinov's hands were really low. He was really, getting ready for Gustafsson's just head down, move forward strategy, and landed some really nice strikes. Was throwing some like weird overhand hammer fists, like some awkward strikes, and they were just landing. And eventually, I mean, it wasn't very far in, but Gustafsson just towered up and it was over. And for a 34-year-old prospect, it's definitely going to be hard for Gustafsson to get where the aura was taking him to previously. But for Fakhretdinov, he's 24-1-1, has a great UFC record, and I think he'll get another big opportunity potentially on one of these upcoming cards, maybe in Saudi or something like that. But I think it was an impressive win for Fakhretdinov, who's had an up and down go in the UFC so far.
Yeah, I mean, Renat's obviously he's going to have a chance now to really like make a leap for, going up. He's going to have a chance at the rankings here soon. I would be willing to bet. Gustafsson, Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. You're too old to be a prospect and be losing. That's just how it is. The older you are as a prospect, like you know what I mean. Like you're gonna every loss sets you back. But when you're that 34 years old and you're a prospect, you're not already established, sets you back really far. So I
Yeah.
don't know how that's going to be. I won't count them out. Crazier things have happened, but I would say the chances are even lower than they were.
Yeah. And I will say this, welterweight, they've turned over a lot of talent. So there's a good chance that he'll be able to find a good quality matchup, someone on the other side of 30 like himself, where he can put on a fun fight. I expect a couple more fun fights with him in the UFC. This one was just a rough look. And speaking of rough looks, we move up the card to Tavares versus Robert Brychek, Polish power versus the United States, but really it's that Hawaiian spirit. And it was a tough fight. I mean, Brychek looked really good in round one, like he did in his UFC debut. At round two, he started looking like he was slowing down, and Brad Tavares took over. But round three, Brychek was able to clip Brad Tavares. And don't get it twisted, Brychek looked great in round one, put him on the ground, and debatably could have been finished. Tavares was still arguing the stoppage in the third round. He wanted it to go. He still has all that toughness, but Robert Brychek, someone that maybe not a lot of people expected to look the way he did, 2-1 the underdog in this fight, he looked really good, and the future's bright for the Polish power.
I have mixed feelings about this as I am an American, but I also am Polish. So, maybe I just got to respect the Polish power. Maybe one day I'll get some Polish power. Who knows,
Nah,
But
gym first.
what was that?
Got to hit the gym first.
Moving on. Moving on. Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. You're going to have to take this one. I got no thoughts on this fight.
Well, somehow we're free flowing so well because Sam Patterson is someone who did hit the gym, the former lightweight at 155, 6'3". I don't know how he did it. He's moved
That's
up
crazy.
to welterweight. I mean, he's looking good, and he fought the biggest welterweight the UFC has to offer at 6'5". So you had two tall dudes in there. At first, Trey Waters looked good. He was using his length, his jab, his little 1-2 combos were coming down the pike, but Patterson found the chin and started moving forward. And as soon as he landed, it was over. Sam Patterson, to me, is one of these prospects at the welterweight division where we need to be paying attention. He is not the guy that you saw get knocked out at lightweight. This is a completely different fighter. His striking is quality. He can kick, but it's definitely his hands primarily. But his submission game is so underrated. I mean, this guy's quality. I think he still has a couple more unranked fights in him, but they're always going to be fun. He's always looking for the finish. He's a UFC kind of guy. I think we'll see him back in there soon.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, the next fight I do have some thoughts on. Harry Hardwick. The Hardwick brothers, for those of you who don't know, George and Harry Hardwick, they are brothers. Harry previously fought in Cage Warriors. They were both champions in Cage Warriors. George Hardwick had a chance at Dana White's Contender Series. He lost that fight. Harry Hardwick obviously making his UFC debut. A really rough debut fight against Calvin Fernandez, up a weight class on 4 days' notice. That is not an easy fight. So despite how bad Harry Hardwick looked, I think that we need to give him some credit. 4-day notice, UFC fight, up a weight class against a really good opponent. You know what I mean? So it's not like he was fighting some random bum on the early prelims. He's fighting a good fighter. It was a leg kick TKO. I believe the 19th in UFC history. I saw something like that.
Yeah, rare. They're very rare.
It's rare. It does happen, but yeah, his leg was just getting chewed up. He ended up leaving on a stretcher, but I believe he signed a 2-fight contract. Hopefully he comes back and gets either a layup or just someone, in featherweight. Let's see him at featherweight. Let's see him fight a 145er, and let's really see if he has UFC level skill.
100%, and give him all the credit in the world for showing up on short notice, putting on a fight. The crowd was behind him. Of course, another English fighter before him with the big finish victory. The crowd was going crazy. It took about 9 leg kicks before both legs he was limping on. It didn't matter if he was checking them or not. I mean, they were all landing, and Coway was really turning into those kicks. You got to give Coway Fernandez credit. I think a lot of people are really hyping him up. I think he's very hittable, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. But holy smokes, I mean, what an impressive victory. And he put Hardwick out of there and left no questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you chew up the legs that bad, reminds me of fighting guys on UFC 5. Anyways.
Yeah.
Marcin Tybura versus Ante. Is it Delia?
Delia.
Delia.
Delia, the Croatian fighter. He might be the only one from Croatia. And before we even talk about the fight, the biggest thing, and I've seen Ante fight plenty of times on PFL, I've never realized how he has a third nipple.
Does he?
Right underneath of his, I guess it's his left pec. It was on the right side of the screen.
Whoa!
Look at that thing. And that third pec gave him all the power in the world. He looked quick. He looked fast. He looked in a hurry. He lost to Marcin Tybura nearly 10 years ago to the day of this fight. Rematch in the UFC now. Ante Delia's debut, former PFL champion. I'll be honest, I was doubting on him. I was like, Tybura's already won. If Tybura gets on top, it might be a wrap. Well, Tybura tried for one wrestling exchange, didn't really get very close, was exhausted after it, and shortly after, Ante Delia, his hands looked fast, strong, and he looked like a real threat. I mean, he was crying after the victory, and you could see the emotion. At 35 years old, it's time for him to make moves up the heavyweight division, and that's the way to get in there. I think a good fight for him might be a guy like Waldo Cortez, an older prospect with some good UFC experience, coming off a loss, but still in that top 10. Delia is going to have a ranking next to his name now, maybe 7, maybe 8, something in that ballpark. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does. But like some fighters who are a little bit older who have crossed over, Michael Chandler, Michael Venom Page, now Ante Delia, I expect him to fight a lot, just like them. Even Pitbull, who didn't get to fight on this card, unfortunately, due to Losane Keita missing weight. I think we're seeing a lot of these veterans come in and fight a lot, and I expect Delia to be one of those.
I heard a rumor that Losane was going to get cut.
And I heard a rumor that that was a lie. So we'll see.
I said it was just a rumor.
Yeah, well, mine is also just a rumor. I don't think anybody knows. For the record,
I don't think it's hard when you miss weight on a debut, but I don't see them.
And look, I mean, missing weight is not acceptable. It is not fair to your opponent. It is not fair to the sport. I completely understand why people are getting on him, but there's a few reasons why we can maybe cut him some slack. Not just that he's a great prospect in a part of the world that we're looking to build and expand on, but he's also a guy who was a featherweight champion but hasn't fought at featherweight for 3 years because he's defending his lightweight title. Then he takes this fight. It was only announced about 3.5 weeks before the card. I'm sure it was probably signed a little bit earlier, but there's no way he had a full camp for this. So you're telling him he's got to go to a new weight class with no camp?
I don't want him to get cut. I don't want him to get cut. I would like to see him fight in the UFC. That being said, backtracking a little bit, this fight, the heavyweight fight, I think this just shows the lack of not just talent, but overall fighters in the heavyweight division. The fact that you can make a debut and fight the number 7 ranked fighter, that doesn't happen. Like in any weight class. The only other time that I can think of recently that something like that happened was Kai Asakura versus Pantoja. We saw how that went.
A couple other, Pico versus Murphy and Pitbull. So these guys that have the titles,
but those are guys who were champions and I don't know Delia's background. So.
Well, he was also a PFL champion.
Oh,
so
okay. How recently though?
I believe it was two years ago. It was also, and I don't want to hate on Ante because it was a great debut, and honestly, I think he's got a great future ahead of him. It was maybe on one of the lesser heavyweight seasons we've seen thus far. There were some suspensions, some injuries, some visa issues, so he did not necessarily fight the best of the PFL's heavyweight.
Well, the thing about the heavyweight division is it's probably the best division in terms of like your chances to become a high-ranked fighter, right?
And you can do it later in your career.
Exactly. Yes. Now, unfortunately, the champion is Tom Aspinall. So,
and he trains with Tom. So that's the other thing. He trains with Tom. Tom was there rooting for him, and they showed Tom and his new neck tattoo a bunch on the broadcast.
Yeah, throat goat they call him. I don't know. Anyways, I want to ask this question, so we're going to back off of this for a second. Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. How do you see that going?
Aspinall, and it might not be as quick as John Jones, but I think it'll be a first-round finish, and I think it'll be equally as impressive, if not more, because I think John Jones kind of fell right into the submission. I think Tom will earn the finish that he gets on Ciryl.
Tom, either he's going to submit him, he could knock him out. Like, there's so many. The only way I see Ciryl Gane winning is if he's able to clip Tom, which
later in the fight.
Yeah. I don't.
If Tom gets tired.
Yes, but I don't see him making it to the. Maybe they make it to the second round. It's not going to the third round. I would put money on that. It's not going to the third round. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Got off track there. I don't know anything about this fight other than that it happened. So you
Well,
take the
featured
lead
prelim.
here.
It's short and simple and sweet because at the end of the day, Omar Sy, the Frenchman, big favorite. Brendan Ribeiro, tall, long, dangerous light heavyweight. But Umar Sy might be the first guy that is equally as tall, long, and dangerous as him. Umar Sy, the commentary was like, I can't believe he's grappling. Why doesn't he just strike with him? I'm like, bro, have you ever watched Umar Sy fought? Like, ever? He is an unbelievable grappler, and Brendan was falling right over into the takedowns, letting him get that top control, trying to play a little jiu-jitsu off his back, but Umar Sy made him pay. The ground and pound, the submission attempts that allowed him to get better position, it was pure class. He outclassed Ribeiro. I think a lot of people gave Umar Sy some slack for losing Alonzo Manyfield, but I don't think people realize how big of a jump up that was. It was a big step up for a very inexperienced guy to fight a very experienced guy. And at the end of the day, I think you got to give some of these young prospects time. I get it. It's light heavyweight and you're trying to develop stars, but he needed that time. And this showed that he still has that potential. He bounced back very strong. I'm looking forward to seeing what this Frenchman has.
If you can't become champ within your first 4 fights in the UFC, you're just terrible.
Fraud.
The word that William Gomez.
This was an interesting fight. I believe it was the first decision of the card.
I think it. Yeah, it was. Let's double check that. I believe
so. I think we had 7 in a row before the main card, and then the main card.
Wow! Actually, no. I saw a tweet. It said, "Of course, William Gomez is the ends the finishing streak." But
always, and he fought some Polish power. Where, in all honesty, Ruchala's striking strategy is more output than power. But Gomis looked good. He was moving well. I think, as always, it's a close margins fight for Gomis. In my books, it was 29-28. Round 2 went clearly to Ruchala. He got a lot of top pressure. His wrestling was working. Gomis definitely outstruck him in round 1. I thought round 3 was really, really close, but Gomis edged it out. Somehow there was a 30-27 in there. I thought it was pretty clear 29-28, and you could really make a thin argument for Ruchala. I mean, put this fight in the Apex, not in France, and maybe you can make a Ruchala argument. But for a decision, it was at least a fun fight. Lots of striking, lots of spinning stuff from both sides, a little bit of grappling on both sides getting shown. It was a complete mixed martial artist contest. But I think Gomis, he's one of those guys that I think he needs to take some steps up if he wants to be ranked. He's not there just yet. But he's a good fighter.
Fair enough. I don't know too much about either of these guys, unfortunately. I will say one thing that I run UFC, like I do UFC videos all the time. I think I have more knowledge than like the average fan. But then I get on this show with you, and I'm like, fuck, get a life, dude.
To me,
I'm like, whoa.
I need a girlfriend. Taking
it's cool. I'm just glad that I think we fill 2 demographics here. There's the like, I mean, I would say I'm above a casual fan because I watch every card and I like actually look.
You're a UFC diehard.
Maybe not maybe I'm a UFC diehard. You're just an MMA diehard.
Unfortunately, fortunately,
but it's good. It's good.
Unfortunately, I love it, and I love my Ravens. Go Ravens! You'll all be seeing this on Monday, so this might not age well, but we're destroying the Bills tonight.
We'll see. Anyways, it's good having you here to help keep me in check when I spew nonsense. But Axel Sola versus Rise McKee.
Yeah, and this one was an interesting one. Really bad stoppage. I mean, Reese McKee, yes, he was losing. And yes, Reese McKee takes a lot of punches when he fights. But that was an early stoppage. He was getting up. He contested it right away. I
didn't see the stoppage. I'm going to look it up right now because I want to see it.
It was not a good stoppage. Now, give Axel Sola credit. He kept moving forward. He kept the output going. He kept the intensity. He mixed up the arts, made Reese McKee work, made him work hard. I have to say I was still left kind of in the same boat as Gomis. Like, yes, he's a good fighter, but he's going to struggle against the upper echelon. I think there's a lot of things that Axel Sola needs to work on. Great for him. Great debut win. but really bad stoppage. He would have won the fight regardless. He was up 2-0, probably would have won the third round, even though Reese McGee prior to that sequence was looking really, really well, really, really strong. Axel Solo was slowing down. But yeah, Axel Solo got the win. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next with him. He should not be stepping up to ranked opposition, if you ask me.
Yeah, I just watched the finish. It's not okay. It's not like the worst stoppage I've ever seen, but it's not a good one. I think I can understand why Herb jumped in, as he shells up for a second, but like right before Herb jumps in, he starts to stand like he's trying to advance position. So
Yep.
Herb definitely should have when he took that step forward, he should have kind of like stepped back and been like, okay, let's let him work for a second. So yeah, not a great stoppage. Herb Dean is either the best ref in the UFC or the worst ref in the UFC. There is no in between when it comes to Herb.
Consistently inconsistent.
Precisely. Yeah. Anyways, let's just move on. Yeah, that's not a great one. Oh, this
best fight of the night.
This was a crazy fight. Aiden Ross bet money on Oki and Law. He bet $500,000 and he threw a hissy fit, and it was hilarious. Like, especially when Oki almost got the finish on Jones, and Aiden Ross was like jumping up and down like a little girl. It was cringe, but it was a lot of people on Twitter were like, "This is the worst type of UFC fan." But anyways, what were your thoughts on the fight?
Well, I saw a lot of those tweets, and I have to say I take no judgment, but if the only reason why you're watching it is because you bet on it, probably should find a new sport or a new hobby. Yes. Regardless, this was the best fight of the night. Balaji Oki came out like a bat out of hell, knocked Mason Jones down. It took pure heart for Mason Jones to get up. He was eating punches. I mean, there was nothing blocking these strikes from landing on his chin. And he got up, and Balaji Oki might have blew his load a little bit. And Mason Jones slowly but surely was able to get the
pause.
And so at the end of the day, Mason Jones gets the win. Second round knockout, big comeback. He looked good. I mean, Mason Jones is a dog. He might get hit. He might get a little bit grappled, but he will always fight back, and he will not stop fighting until you shut his lights off. And at the end of the day, his lights did not get shut off. He took Balaji Oki out. Great fight. I'm looking forward to the next Mason Jones fight. Between this one and his fight with Jeremy Stevens, his 2 return fights to the UFC have been incredible, and his work has really, really shown.
Is he a former Cage Warriors fighter?
Yes, he is, and he went right back to Cage Warriors after the first stint.
I like Cage Warriors. I do. I'm not going to lie.
We can have that conversation another day. Let us know in the comments. What is your favorite regional promotion, and what do you think the best regional promotion base is for the UFC? I would say the LFA is the best regional promotion right now.
This fight hurt me. I really like Paul Craig.
Oh, Paul Craig.
Paul Craig. This one hurt me. Obviously, not only did he lose by a pretty vicious elbow KO, he did retire, and that made me sad. Paul Craig.
Jamal Hill armbar.
The Jamal Hill armbar is crazy, or the last-second submission against Ankalaev. I mean, he's got some good wins, Not the best career overall, but a good career, and just a good fighter. Seems like a really good guy, too, I will say. Yeah. So have a good retirement, Paul. I know I appreciate you. I'm sure most other UFC fans do as well. But, yeah, give me your thoughts on this fight.
I mean, it is always tough to see a legend go out, especially the way he did. Modestas Bukauskas, he's one of those guys training with Aspinall. So he's in a good camp. He's getting in good rounds, and he's been leveling up little by little. He used to be a decision merchant, and now he's getting all these finishes, looking really good, looking vicious, using his natural physical abilities and combining it with technique. It's very impressive to see his growth. And for Paul Craig, unfortunately, it was kind of his fault why he got where he did. The fight was, it was Modestas's, but Paul Craig wasn't getting destroyed by any, means until the very end of the round when Paul Craig tried to jump up and I don't know if it was a flying triangle he was going for, a flying armbar, or if he was just pulling guard simply. But he was the reason why he ended up on his back. Modestas showed some really good ground and pound. And just as he thought the round was about to end, Paul Craig didn't pay as much attention, had his hands, focused on the grappling exchange. Modestas comes over the top with an elbow, and you see the lights go out. You see Paul Craig roll over to his back. The ref had no idea that he was out cold, thought the round was over.
The ref was slacking.
Yeah, it took a good like 3 seconds before he realized that, oh no, the round's not over, the fight's over.
Yep.
And so you see that it says 5 minutes. In my book, it's 4:59. He was out cold with 1 second on the clock, but
Yes.
it was impressive for Bukauskas. And like you said, I mean, much respect to Paul Craig. I will miss the face paint and his energy, but then he was always respectful after the fight. By all accounts, a great guy, great fighter.
Paul Craig.
Sport. Paul Craig.
Paul Craig. All right. Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy. Now, some are calling it a fraud check. Look, I'm not going to say that. I think Ruffy needs 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. Okay. His grappling is really bad, like objectively bad. Islam Makhachev was tweeting about it. Really bad. That being said, on the feet, he was doing good. You know, I was watching. I did get to watch most of this fight in my car. Ruffy looks good on the feet, man. He reminds everybody of a prime McGregor, just the way, the speed, the footwork. You know, the speed, the footwork, the accuracy. Yeah, exactly. He looked really great on the feet. He always looks very comfortable. He had some decent takedown defense as well, but once the fight did go to the ground, you could just tell that Mauricio Ruffy's grappling is not where it needs to be, especially when in the lightweight division, there are a lot of really good grapplers. You know, guys who maybe don't want to grapple, but they will, like they can and they will. Like I'm thinking of like a guy like Ilia Topuria. He doesn't typically, like the grappling is not what he wants. He wants to knock you out, but he could grapple you easily, you know. So Mauricio Ruffy's got to work on that. And I think his grappling might be bad enough to where even an average grappler could take advantage of him. I'm not saying Benoit Saint Denis is an average grappler, but I do think that we need to see him against a grappler and really see how good his grappling is, or we book him against Michael Chandler.
Well, here's the thing. I'm happy you were able to see this and take a pretty strong opinionated stance there, because I disagree with most of what you just said.
Oh, let's hear it.
I think Ruffy had a bad performance, but I do not think he's a bad grappler in any sense of the imagination. I think you put an average grappler across from him, that striking threat is so bad that it's very unlikely that an average grappler can do what Benoit did. So here's my points to counter you.
Okay.
One, yes, Ruffy looked great on the feet. In the second round, he was landing some strikes before that last takedown.
He landed a really good flying knee at one point that I thought was going to put Benoit out.
A couple hooks right on the chin too. I was like, oh my God, Benoit looks like he might go out cold. But the thing that people don't remember is Benoit was like a Green Beret equivalent for France or whatever. Yep. Like he's some special army military guy. He's got just crazy physical traits and attributes. I think the big difference here in this fight was just the pure muscle. I think
Benoit's a big guy.
Yeah, and Mauricio, I think it's pronounced Huffy, actually. I think Mauricio Huffy, or how
I'm white. I'm saying Ruffy.
I try my best. And yeah, no, I think the initial takedown defense was there. I think it was the re-wrestling and the get-ups that was struggling for him. I think, again, the size plays a big factor. I think the crowd plays a big factor. You're going over to France into enemy territory. This is your first like big fight. And at the end of the day, you just got a ranking. You're still young in your UFC career. I think the big thing for Ruffy is he's training with some dogs, whether it's Olachechik or Baralho or whoever it is. He's training with dogs. He'll be back and better. I do not think this is the end of it. I think this is a learning experience. And I think the big thing is you got to give credit to Benoit. He showed a lot of growth in his game, especially when you look back at the Dustin Poirier fight where, again, the UFC brought him up too quick and he needed some time. And people forget the level of talent and skill that
People forget, man.
People forget, man.
Benson Henderson was the first to do a calf kick.
And now everybody.
No, I mean, I think all of your points were valid. I'm not gonna agree with you until I see Ruffy show some good grappling. But anyways, let's talk about the main event.
Oh, before we go, real quick, I did just want to kind of throw out two names for a Benoit fight.
Yes.
Because I think there's a couple potential options out there. We've seen Benoit against really good strikers like Dustin Poirier and struggle. We've seen him with really good strikers and find success like Mauricio Ruffy. I want to see grappler versus grappler next time we're with Benoit. There's a couple names in the rankings around him. Grant Dawson, one spot behind him. The other one is Mateus Gamrot, who not a lot of people are willing to fight these days. It seems like a couple spots ahead of him. Give me one of those two fights. Give me them soon. I think the Gamrot fight would be really fun with this whole European push. Maybe we could have a little Poland versus France sometime soon. But let's see Benoit in a real good grappling match. Let's see what his striking is like with a guy that's trying to wrestle him. Let's see what he can do in a grappling match. And let's see if he can keep leveling up into the top 10, because it's not too late for him to make another push up into the rankings.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, he is still young. Benoit's young.
Oh no, Benoit's in his 30s.
Is he really?
Benoit's getting
no,
up.
no. He's younger than that.
I'm fairly
He's
certain
29. He's 29.
Okay, you're right. I'm wrong. You're right. I'm
yeah,
wrong.
because I did a video on the lightweight division and I studied, so I know these guys' ages. All right, I don't want to
self-promotion.
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, got a new video on the works right now. It's about the heavyweight division.
Might need to make multiple videos.
It's a rough video. It's just a lot of hatred, but anyways,
might break the scale.
Literally, yeah. Anyways, Imavov versus Caio. I've heard people pronounce it Bahayo, Barilio. I don't know. I heard this chick interview him and say Bahayo, and he didn't correct her, so that's what I'm going with.
I just say we refer to him as Captain of the Fighting Nerds.
Not anymore. Now it's Gene Silva, I guess. But yeah, this fight interesting. A lot of people had this as like the official judges scorecard was what, 50-45, 49-46, and 49-46.
And I thought it was much closer than that.
A lot of people thought it was much closer. I didn't see the whole fight, but with what I saw, I think it was closer. At least it looked a lot closer. But that being said, Imavov got the win. Like, I'm not going to argue that, and I think it's very clear he is next in line for Khamzat. How that fight goes, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking anybody can grapple with Khamzat, but maybe. I'll just say maybe, and I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an I told you so moment, but I was pretty confident in Imavov when we last spoke. I'm not too surprised that he came out there and was able to stop Caio's wrestling and outstrike him, especially with the home crowd, especially with Caio making weight 2-3 weeks ago in Chicago.
Unnecessary weight cut. That was a really bad idea, I think.
Yeah, and that meant that he was focused on a weight cut and not training camp. And I think for him, he stepped into enemy territory and was a little timid. I don't think that means Caio's bad. I think Caio's a very good fighter. I think he's still going to make plenty of noise, just like I think Rufi's going to do, just like I think Prates will do. And we've already seen Prates rebound from a loss. So I don't think the story's over for the Fighting Nerds. I think there's a lot of hate that they're getting. And I mean, put it in perspective. You're going from your home country across the Atlantic Ocean to France into their backyard with a rowdy crowd. I mean, let's talk about that crowd. That was one of the best crowds I've ever seen.
It's a good crowd.
And it's tough. So I think you got to give Imavov all the credit in the world. Personally, I wouldn't have been shocked if it was 48-47. I think one thing that really swayed a lot of people with the opinion of it was really close was, well, the UFC stats were just wrong in round one. In round one, it made it look like Caio was outstriking Nassourdine by a ton. And that just definitely was not what I was watching. I think round two was definitely a Caio round. I think rounds 1 and 5 were pretty close. I thought 3 and 4 were clear Imavov, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, I think Imavov clearly won. I thought 50-45 was egregious. I thought 49-46 is reasonable. I thought 48-47 isn't crazy. But at the end of the day, I know you said Imavov might be next for the title. Should he be next? Absolutely. He just beat Caio in his hometown in the main event and just knocked out Izzy. But will he get it?
I think he will be. Personally, I think he will be.
And I personally think, should he? Yes, but I don't think will he. The answer is yes, because I think Dana said it himself, so I can't even say I think. Dana said the better winner out of the Imavov Baralho fight and the RDR Fluffy fight's going to get that title fight. I'm going to be the first here to say I think there is a finish in that RDR Fluffy fight, and I think that in and of itself, especially if it's Fluffy, and honestly, even if it's RDR, because you can build up that previous champion stuff, and that's a storyline you can tell. Yeah. I think a finish happens there, and I think Imavov gets jumped for either Fluffy or RDR. But hear me out, because if that happens, the middleweight division has some fun fights. I already see the Strickland Adesanya 3 fight coming up, or 2 fight, the rematch. I think Baralho is probably going to have a pretty fun fight in there. I think MVP is going to have another fun fight mixed in there. But guess who I think Imavov's going to fight?
Let's hear it.
Former champion Dricus du Plessis.
Who do you have winning that fight?
Truthfully, Dricus.
I was going to say I think Dricus will win that fight as well. I think he's gonna,
Imavov to me is too low output.
I think Imavov throws a strike, and Dricus gets hit by it. He gets completely knocked out, falls. The canvas wakes him back up. He, out of like his brain being shocked back away, his legs throw up and grab Imavov in a triangle, and then that's it. The fight's over.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it's going to be easy or even crazy, like you said. I mean, at the end of the day, Imavov was born and raised in Dagestan for like the first 8-10 years of his life, whatever it was. Grew up wrestling, then became a kickboxer.
French
we saw his
Khabib.
defensive grappling, but I do think he slows down. He's low output. Dricus will be able to find it. I think late in the fight, he'll be able to find a way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, before we end this episode, there was something you wanted to talk a little bit about. Bob Sapp coming back.
Bob Sapp, the legend, former K1 kickboxer, spent some time with Strikeforce, fought the who's who. He is returning. I mean, that is crazy. The big number there is 51, and I believe it's a Cambodian promotion. Shout out to Combat Sports Today, by the way. They do great work. But Bob Sapp returning to MMA at the ripe age of 51 with a 12-20 pro MMA record. Give me your instant reaction there.
Man, it kind of sucks seeing anybody at that age come back to fight because your first thought is they are pressed for money. They probably need money. Or, you know, a lot of these fighters, something that's maybe not talked about a lot is their life is fighting. And when they retire, they kind of feel empty.
Yeah.
You know, so there's definitely could be part of that. But
it's scary to think about them.
It is scary to think about. You know, I just hope that if he, you know, if this is a one-off thing or if he decides to keep fighting, I hope he doesn't take too much damage, and I hope he makes a shitload of money so he doesn't have to, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably watch it. You know what I mean? So I can't 100%. I can't say, you know, I can't really complain about it, but
or at least the highlight. But honestly, I don't know who his opponent is, but I want to look into him and kind of learn a little bit more. But a couple shout outs. Our question of the week last week was, who do you want to see on the White House card? That's definitely a conversation that'll carry. There's a couple shout outs. JT444. Colby Covington will probably be back on this card. And that's something that we heard a couple different times. KTVEGA MMA, John Jones. I don't know about that one. Gaethje and Max Holloway, your sugar boo. I could see that. Michael Chandler, O'Malley, Bo Nickel, Aaron Pico. Those are some good American names that were listed there. A couple other ones in here from Aspire Plays. Got to get Patty in the house. I think a Patty versus Gaethje. That would be a crazy fight. Kayla Harrison. Kerry Gardner 350 said that one. I think that would be a sick Kayla Harrison Amanda Nunes fight.
Valid.
And a couple others. I mean, Sean Strickland from Josh Giaz. We had a couple real good comments there. Connor Nate 3. A lot of fights that I think we definitely would love to see. So let's keep that Discord going because I think there's going to be a fun White House card on the 4th of July in just about 10 months' time.
They're saying it's now going to be in June.
Really? I did not see that.
Yes, it is now apparently going to be in June. We have several sources here now saying it is reportedly set for June 2026. Weigh-ins at the Lincoln Memorial, fight night on the South Lawn, fighters warm up inside the White House. Whoa. Giant screens outside, fireworks, and light shows. This is from Complex Sports. We also have championship rounds confirming the same thing that I just said.
Wow.
So, and, you know, even Conor McGregor replied to the Complex Sports tweet and said McGregor's return. So,
well, he's been making waves. His training videos have looked awfully interesting.
Yes,
he's spending a lot of time on the road. Awfully. Yeah. And he made that video the other day about him running for president, and I don't think it sounds like it's really possible.
I don't know. I don't know.
But we'll see. I don't know. It seems like it's more of a legit possibility than in the USA than it is in Ireland.
Yes, maybe.
Twitter makes him a candidate. The Irish government does not seem like they're making him a candidate.
That's fair. Well, I think is that going to end it for this episode?
Yeah, we ran a little bit long. I think the big thing here is thank you so much to everybody that's watching. Of course, we're recording this on Sunday, but you'll see this on Monday. Let us know how you're feeling. It feels great that football is back. So let us know your favorite football team. I think that should be today's question of the day. Drop your favorite NFL team down below. Obviously, New Era 8. Let's go Ravens. We're turning up tonight. I hope you guys can all enjoy that game with me. And when you hear this message, you'll already have known that we won, and we're basically going to win the Super Bowl.
If the Bills win, this guy's not going to hear the end of it next week.
No, I might not show up.
Okay. Anyways, We love you guys. We appreciate you watching. Leave comments, suggestions, anything you want to talk about. Of course, answer the question of the day. We got to know if you like football. Who's your favorite football team? Jake
Follow the
Ravens,
scrap.
me Seahawks. I'm a Seattle native. It's got to be the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Take it easy.